Okay, the objective of today's lesson is to find products and quotients of real numbers. So it follows right along with what we did yesterday in class, but it's now, instead of adding and subtracting, we're going to look at multiplying and dividing. So let's just jump into this. Okay, the product of two real numbers with different signs is negative. So, key thing here, if we have different signs, then it's going to be a negative answer. And the way that you can think about this, you've got two of the negative threes. I've got two of them. So -3 and -3 more makes -6. Or you can think of it as having three negative twos. So I've got 1, 2, 3 negative twos, giving me an even larger -6. If you think back to the little song that we were singing in class yesterday, it said multiply or divide, it's an easy thought. Same signs are positive, different signs are not. So if same signs are positive and different signs are not positive, that means they are negative. So the product of two real numbers with the same sign is positive. Multiply or divide, it's an easy thought. Same sign is positive, different signs are not positive, therefore they're negative. So you can think of it as a double negative is always a positive, or a double positive is a positive. Same sign, it is going to be a positive answer. Oops. Okay, the quotient follows the same rules. Different signs is negative, same sign is positive. You can pause this and look over these examples if you need to. So one more time, I'm going to kind of go through the song. Don't judge me for my singing abilities here. The point of it is to memorize this so that when you're taking a test, you can sing it in your head and remember the different rules. So, same sign add and keep, different sign subtract. Keep the sign of the larger number, then it will be exact. Change the minus to a plus, change the sign of the next. Then all you do is add them up as if it were a plus. Multiply or divide, it's an easy thought. Same signs are positive, different signs are not positive, therefore they are negative. If that helps you, I hope. Okay, skydiving. A skydiver's elevation changes by 3,600 feet in the negative direction in 4 minutes after the parachute opens. What is the average change in the skydiver's elevation each minute? So let's think about what the question's asking here. If you're falling 36,000 feet in 4 minutes, how much are you falling in 1 minute? So there's a couple ways that you can do this. You can say 36 is to 4 as what number is to 1. And then, of course, you guys know to cross multiply and divide. So you're going to have 4x equals -36. To get x by itself, I would divide by 4. 36 divided by 4 is 9. Oops, I don't know why I put that negative there. So it's going to be negative 900 feet per minute. Or just right off the bat, you could say, okay, 3,600 divided by 4. Same sign. These aren't the same sign. These are different signs. So multiply or divide, it's an easy thought. Same signs are positive. Different signs are not positive, therefore it will be negative. So negative 900 feet. So it says, what is the average change in the skydiver's elevation each minute? He's falling 900 feet per minute. Okay, moving on. It's the inverse property of multiplication. Says that for every non-zero real number, there is a multiplicative inverse 1 over a, such that a times 1 over a equals 1. So what's the multiplicative inverse of 4? 4 over 1. The multiplicative inverse says that you just flip this. So it's going to be times 1 over 4. 4 times 1 is 4. 1 times 4 is 4. We know that 4 over 4 is, in fact, 1. And the multiplicative inverse of -4 would be -1 over 4. And we can double check ourselves by saying, okay, negative 4 over 1 times negative 1 over 4. A negative times a negative is a positive. 4 times 1 is 4. 1 times 4 is 4. 4 over 4 is, in fact, 1. So the product of multiplicative inverses is always going to be a positive 1. What's a reciprocal? If I have 2/3, what is its reciprocal? The reciprocal of 2/3 is just 3 over 2. It goes right along with the multiplicative inverse. It's the product of the reciprocal, once again, is always 1. So the reciprocal of a number is its multiplicative inverse. So there's a rule that works for dividing fractions. If I have, let me go back here real quick. If I have, let's look at some real world examples here, or some real number examples. If I have, let's say I have 2/3 like I gave up here, and I multiply it by 3/2. Once again, I get 6 over 6, which is 1. Okay, so if I gave you the fraction, what is 2/3 divided by 4/6? Okay, that's a little bit difficult to do. A fraction divided by a fraction. But the rule of knowing about reciprocals comes in handy when I'm dealing with fractions. Because what I can do is, instead of dividing by another fraction, I can instead multiply by its reciprocal. This is the same thing as saying 2/3 times the reciprocal of the bottom here. So what's the reciprocal of 4/6? Be 6 over 4. So I end up with 12 over 12, which is 1. Let's look at another example here. Find the value of x over y when x is negative 3/4 and y is negative 2/3. So I'm trying to say, what is negative 3/4 divided by negative 2/3? Well, that's just sloppy, messy, nasty. So let's try to instead multiply by the reciprocal of this fraction. So I've got negative 3/4 times the reciprocal of 2/3 would be 3/2. Okay, this is a lot easier. Negative times a negative we know is a positive. 3 times 3 is 9. 4 times 2 is 8. So my answer is 9 over 8. Much, much easier to compute this than it is to compute this. Okay, so what I want you to do is I'm going to give you, or the sub will give you a paper, a handout that has all of these problems on it, and I want you to complete the odd numbers. So you're going to go through and do every odd problem on a separate sheet of paper. I will give you these so what you don't have finished you can practice at home, but these are some great follow-up questions just to make sure that you've understood everything that we've covered so far this school year. So this kind of goes over a little bit of everything. There's some great word problems in there. Don't panic just because there's some words. You guys can do this. We did a problem just like this one in class with the scuba diving. Don't panic on me. You can do it. Just do your best, and we will go over these answers. I will go over them and explain any misconceptions that you may have had when we come back next Monday. Have a great weekend, and I will see you Monday, hopefully.